Hi, my name is Joe Lavin, and I'm a massage therapist located in Seattle, Washington. This is a short video showing one example of how I would include full chest and breast massage on a male client. There are three really important things I want to say about full chest and breast massage right at the start. One is that I am fortunate enough to practice in a state that recognizes the medical and therapeutic importance of working on and around the breast tissue of both male and female clients, so the work is within my scope of practice as a licensed massage therapist in Washington State. The second is that I only do full chest and breast work on clients after getting their fully informed consent in writing, and then only in the specific manner that we've agreed upon prior to the massage. Third, breast massage is not always or only specifically about the breasts or breast tissue. There are numerous holistic and medically therapeutic reasons to massage your client's breasts and related tissue, but I believe that just having the freedom to work on and around my client's chest and breast tissue allows me to work much more freely and effectively on the entire upper thoracic region. At this point, I usually launch into some important disclaimers, but I'm going to put them at the end of this video and you can read them there. The most important disclaimer or thing that I think you should be aware of is that there can be a lot of emotional, intimacy, sexual, and trauma-related issues that can arise when working on your client's full chests and breasts. For both the giver and receiver, whether male or female, doesn't matter. So my personal suggestion is not to do this work on a client until and unless you are prepared to handle these issues professionally, elegantly, and within your scope of practice. Which also means to me that you and I should make sure that we have worked through any of these issues that we might have personally before we try to do this work with clients. If you do have any questions about any of this as a practitioner or potential receiver, I'm always happy to talk with you. Just reach out through any of the ways you can find in this video. Let's see if we can find some cool stuff to talk about in the video. So I'll point out what I think is important from here on out. And the first thing I want to point out is that this is very typical of how I practice full chest and breast massage on the majority of my clients who request the work. There are a few clients who come in for very specific breast massage needs where the work is much more focused and tied to a specific therapeutic outcome, like in the case of oncology-related issues, surgeries, underwire damage, etc. But most of the time I'm treating the chest, breast, and related tissues just like all of the other tissues in the body, mostly because that is what they are, at least until we add our subjective experiences and beliefs, which are valid and need to be understood before doing the work. But now that I'm trying to narrate this video, I realize that this is the video. It's just way too short to get into any of this on a substantial basis, and I've already missed a lot of things I wanted to point out. So I'm going to see if I can start the video sequence over here and just try to comment on some specific techniques and things that I am thinking about while I'm doing this work. I'm going to be doing some blog posts soon about this work on my website, and when I get it done, I'll add a link in the description. But for now, let's see if I can reset this and give you some insights to what I'm thinking. Okay, it worked. So, importantly, my full chest and breast massage starts somewhere down by Travis's foot. I come through the chest a lot. I have consent from Travis to go over its sensitive areas, nipple, areola, but for the most part, I'm not going to do that unless I really have a specific reason. And so most of my work, you will see that I will get all the chest and breast tissue that I want kind of involved with the work, but I will miss the sensitive areas, especially here on Travis in the beginning. Not always, depending on the client and how they respond to that, but that's the intention here with this work. I do have some clients that specifically want their nipple and areola included in the massage. Sometimes they are sensitive, either tickly or maybe even eroticizing, and so to diminish that, we'll use a nipple desensitizer so that we can get the work done that we want to do without triggering things we don't want to trigger. I like to move the body a lot in my work. I like to take joints to their entire ranges of motion, at least the ranges of motion that are available to my client, and at the same time, I want to make sure it included the tissue before and after the muscle I'm working on. So in the muscle books, we see a muscle starts and ends someplace, but the nervous system goes from the forehead to the toes, and so I'm really trying to involve a lot of the body before and after the specific area I'm trying to get a therapeutic effect. Here I'm going through the chest again. I'm working on the chest pack tissue. With the gal, there might be more breast tissue there, and so I want to work that sometimes a little bit aggressively, always within a comfort zone of the client, but especially like underwire stuff there, I'll work in there pretty heavily. I come down through the pec minor a lot. I do a lot of things that are offsetting so that one thing like that elbow there might not be great, but I'll I'll have something nice going across the face or someplace else, so that I don't focus all of my attention in the area that I am trying to get an effect out of, or that I'm trying to touch without the client feeling trauma. And I think this can be especially important in the area of chest and breast tissue. The reason why I included my full body is I feel like sometimes it's awkward to just work on the breast and to maybe isolate that part of the body for this moment in time, and it gets weird sometimes. And so I'd rather just work on the chest and breasts in fluidity with the rest of my work, so it's almost like it doesn't really matter. And a lot of my clients make that comment, like they never thought they'd be able to receive work there, but they just feel totally fine receiving it now, and that's good enough for this massage, and we'll see where we're at next massage. So here I'm using Travis's head and neck to kind of stretch the tissue before my forearm gets in there. I'm going over and around the chest and breasts. You can see working on two different things at one time. So again, the work just doesn't get super specific where I'm at. It's very relaxing. A lot of times it lets the client totally let go versus anticipating what might be next, what might be terrible. That's why I do the work that way. Here, it's kind of hard to see how much torque I actually have on the right side of Travis's neck there. So I have like a jiu-jitsu background. I do a lot of using the body and the levers on the body, the client's body, to challenge muscles more, to get them in a position either slapped or tightened where I can do specific work. Here I'll stand up to get a more leveraged, more efficient kind of pressure into the body. I'll even have a yoga step down there sometimes. It'll give me like 3 inches of height that I can get a little higher up on the client. So here I'm setting up for this thing I call the breath of life. It is it's a great technique and run that challenges lots of areas. So upper chest, lats, I go through low back, chest, sternum, stomach. You'll see all this kind of in here. Standing over the client. I get my thigh locks their hands there. It depends on how flexible they are. Travis obviously is super flexible and his hands are straight. Sometimes I need a little bolster under there. That's super challenging through the axillary. Come up. Here I get a good step. And notice my hips pull back and drag down. I'm not relying on my upper body strength to get this done. I'm trying to rely on gravity. And again, here's one of those things where it looks pretty gentle, but there is a lot of torque being generated there. I'm going over Travis's chest, nipples, areola, not worried about it because again, we've talked about it, it's in our scope. But I'm still gonna check in. I'm gonna look at the eyes, see if there's any stress in there. I'm gonna look for clients to maybe give me a different indication, nervous system wise, than what we had as far as our conscious idea of what we wanted during the massage. So even though we've agreed on something, I still want to be careful not to assume that it's always okay, and keep checking in all the time, at least with what I feel is most important. Maybe involving the client by asking them, maybe just totally relaxing, focusing away from that, draping better, when I feel like they might have come to a point where they feel vulnerable. So I'm finishing up here, just a short video. Hopefully there was something in here that made you think, answered some questions, gave you more questions you want answered. And my goal is just to normalize the work, just to let people know how healthy it is, how good it is, how normal it can be, and if you're careful, how enriching it can be to both your client and to you as a practitioner, because you just don't have to leave part of the work undone now. You can, if you're allowed in your jurisdiction to do this, do a really, really thorough, healthy, good massage on your clients. And as always, thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far, and I really do mean it. Go be amazing. Amaze yourself, amaze your clients, take the gifts that you have and share them with the world.